Hopefully you had some success in putting the GetLast method together. Now, one thing that I neglected to say was to make sure that you include the GetLast tests by deleting the .skip for that function. So here's GetLast inside of my test.js file. It's around line 53 or so. So remember to remove the .skip on here. My apologies. I will definitely try to remember to remove the .skip in the future. So we should be able to verify that we now have one test failing. Okay, so let's think about a solution here. Back inside of my index.js file, I'm still inside of the linked list class, and I'm down towards the bottom. We've definitely got a pretty good number of functions in here, and we will definitely get many more before we're done. So inside of here, we're going to define the GetLast method, and then recall our goal here is to return the very last node in our linked list. And I had also said that we need to specifically watch out for the case in which our linked list has no nodes associated with it yet. So I think that we'll handle that case right away. We'll handle the case in which we have no nodes. So to do so, we can put together a very simple if statement. We'll say if there is no head element, then just return null right away. So if there's no node, hey, let's get out of here. We're done here. Nothing else. Otherwise, we want to continue inside of the method and do a little bit of work. So to iterate through our linked list and get to the last node, we're going to use the same iteration technique that we used before on the size method up here. So we're going to get a reference to the current node, and then we will iterate through the node, and as long as there is one, we'll continue with the while loop. As soon as we find the very last node, and remember we can identify that by the fact that it will have a null property, that means we've found the final node and we should return it. So down inside of GetLast, we'll get a reference to the node by saying let node equals this.head. And then while node exists, we'll update to node equals node.next. And right before that, we will check to see if node.next exists. So if node.next, if node.next does not exist, so if that's null, that means that we must be at the very end right now, in which case we should return the current node, like so. So again, we start off with our first node. We've already checked to see if that one is not defined. We then enter the for loop, because the first time around, node will always be defined. We then look at this node's next property. If it is not defined, then we immediately return the current node. Otherwise, we update the node variable to the next one in our chain, and then go through the while loop again. So let's check our tests and see how we're doing. Over here, we got 7 tests passing. Awesome. So this was another one that's going to use this same iteration style to look through a linked list. Let's now continue in the next section and we'll move on to our next method.